You are always welcome to the kitchen of Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme. And today we are participating in a one-pot meal collaboration that's being hosted by Stephanie of Creatively MsMe. And I am her co-host. And so, what a pleasure. I hope you will enjoy visiting all of the participants that are going to be in this one pot meal collaboration, because I know they have prepared some slamming dishes for you, and they've done it because they care about offering suggestions to you for your kitchen. So all you'll need and all the information is down in the description box, because all you have to do is type in hashtag one pot meal 2024 and be taken right to all of the many dishes and all of the many suggestions that we are hoping are going to be a part of this collaboration. Kick back in your seat and get ready for my dish that we're going to prepare today. We're going to prepare an African peanut soup, and it's going to be very good. Now, for those of you who may not be able to tolerate peanuts, you can certainly use another nut, or you can even leave that nut out. Now, I've got my pot on. I'm going to start it. Get it on. And in this pot, I'm going to start with onion. I have a half an onion that I'm going to place into my pot, along with 1 container of vegetable broth. Now, if you don't have, if you have vegetable stock, use vegetable stock. But we're going to put this together. It's going to take us about 10 minutes to put together, but it is a wonderful one-pot meal. So I got all of that in, and it may be that later on down the line you may need to add a little bit more broth to it, but this is where we're starting. Now, in addition to this, we're going to add some sweet potatoes, because that's going to be the main starch that is going to be in this particular recipe. And so I have 2 bags of cubed sweet potatoes. I bought them cubed, already cubed. I just had to steam them, punch holes in them, put them in the microwave. We're going to open these. We're going to put them in. That's 1. Let's get number 2. Okay, so we've got our 2 bags of sweet potato cubes, and that's the way they come. So we're going to put those in. We're going to give all of this a good stir. And we're going to let this start to boil. So that's just the onions and the sweet potato cubes. Now, in addition to that, while that's coming to temperature, and I do want this at this point to be pretty high, because I really want that to start a good rolling boil, we're going to open up a can of tomato sauce, and we're going to add in some fire roasted tomatoes. Fire roasted tomatoes are going to add a certain extra level of flavor that we're going to want in our dish. The fun thing about this dish is the fact that I don't have to wait for anything. Remember, this is a quick and easy meal. Now, this is a little 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. And you know I'm going to rinse that out. I'm going to add some of this into the other can, give it a little zhuzh. And these are the fire roasted tomatoes. I'm going to give all of that a little shake so it'll get whatever was extra of the sauce in. Get it cleaned off. There we go. And that is done. Now, we're going to add more seasoning. But let's give all of this a good stir. And you're going to start to see some beautiful colors appear, which is what you want. Now, keep this in mind. You know, I'm spicing for our household. And if you need to change or cut back on the spices that are used, you may certainly do that. And I will give you my finished amount. And if you think you need to maybe start small and work your way up, because you know I tell you to taste all along your cooking process, then you can certainly do that. Now I'm going to add a little bit of better than bouillon seasoned vegetable base to our meal. So let's get that in. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon at this point of our vegetable mix, of our seasoning mix of our vegetable broth. Give that all a good stir. Notice we have not added any oils at all. Now I'm going to let this come up, and I want it to start to bubble. Just going to give this a little taste. Oh, that tastes good already. Now you may, if you want an even heartier feel to it, you may want to add a couple of teaspoons of tomato paste in, because that's going to also help with that thickening process. Okay, I'm going to put in a tablespoon of minced garlic. Remember, we want our food to taste good. 1 tablespoon. I'm going to also add some ginger. And how much ginger? I'm probably just going to put a touch of ginger first. See where it is and let it cook a little bit. And if I think it needs a little more ginger, we'll add it. Now I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of black pepper. That's for me, my starting point. 1 teaspoon. And you may opt to add more if you like. I also want to put in some onion powder. About 1 teaspoon. And about 1 teaspoon of powder of garlic powder. Now let's put in our ginger. I'm going to start with about 1/4 of a teaspoon of ginger, just 1/4. Don't want to get too much. I like it, but we don't want to overdo it. We're going to put in 1 teaspoon of coriander, ground coriander, 1 teaspoon. We're also going to add in 2 teaspoons of cumin. Now, I like cumin, so it may be that I may add a little extra cumin along the way. There's 1. Two. And we want to be able to put in a little bit of cinnamon. I think I have some cinnamon right here. All right, now 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. That we're adding in. Okay. Let's give all of that a good stir. Oh, it smells great. When all of these flavors come together, it's going to be amazing. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about this dish. This dish originated, as it says, in Africa. And it was brought to the United States through the slaves who were brought here. And so when that happened, they started to prepare this particular stew wherever they were. And sometimes it had different types of meat, and sometimes it had none. Now I'm going to put 2 shakes of red pepper flakes. That's optional. 1, 2. Okay, there we go. You kind of have to look and see how many flakes are actually coming out as to how much you're going to put in there. I want it just a little spicy, but not too much. A little heat is fine. Now, this is what we're going to add. I'm going to take some extra crispy peanut butter, and that is going to go into our mix. Now, we're adding an extra crispy peanut butter. I'm going to add probably 2 tablespoons. Actually, I think that is probably just enough, because we want that peanut flavor. But remember, we're not preparing a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's going to have that hint. And if you opt to use an almond butter or whatever type of butter that you use, sunflower, whatever it may be, you may add that instead of the peanut butter. You can use the PB and, was it PB2? You can add that, but it's going to bring great consistency to what we're mixing. So we're going to let all of this mix. Oh, smells wonderful. Now, some recipes call for a little extra of the peanut butter. I think I'll taste mine before I make any adjustments with that. Oh, I like that. But I do think I'll add just a little bit more. Not a lot. There we go. One more scoop. And that's just enough. Now remember, our sweet potatoes we had already cooked. They were in small cubes. We bought them that way. And the reason for doing that, you could certainly cut up your own sweet potatoes. You could bake the sweet potatoes, cut them, and put them in, and perhaps even baking them may even give it an even better flavor, because you will have that baked smokiness. Now, I think that's the one thing that this needs. I'm going to cut this down to low, but I think it needs just a little bit more cumin to it. So I'm going to add just about another teaspoon or so of cumin. Now I'm going to shake mine in. You may certainly measure yours. Add a little more cumin. And give all of this a stir. Now you'll have to look at the consistency. Mine seems to be pretty juicy, but I have not added the garbanzos that are going to go in here. And I know those beans are going to soak up quite a bit. So I like it where it is, but we're going to need a little more. So let me get those garbanzos. I have 2 cans of garbanzo beans. They have been rinsed, and I'm going to add in with our mixture. Oh, look at that. Now, in some recipes, you're going to add kale. In some recipes, you're going to add collards. And in my recipe, we're going to add a mix of baby spinach and baby kale. So I'm going to start to put those in. I'm going to get a big handful. I can feel already now that I'm going to need probably another cup of liquid. But it has so much flavor. And it may be that we may actually end up using this entire container of greens. Add a little more. And whatever's left, I'll use in the salad. We won't waste anything. So I'm going to get my other container of broth. And I'm going to add just a little bit more, because I know my beans are going to soak up a lot of that juice. Oh, it is beautiful. I'm going to let this simmer about 5 more minutes, and then we're going to taste it and see how it tastes. This stew is definitely a one pot, one bowl type of meal. But the reality of it is that we're trying to get as many vegetables into ourselves as well as our family members as we possibly can. So because of that, I'm adding a side salad. So we're going to put that salad together and get everything ready for dinner tonight. For me, preparing a beautiful tossed salad is almost a religious experience because you're adding so many colors and flavors and all of the nutrition that's going into it. But while we're doing this, I want you to think about the fact that first, before we finish up today, be sure to tap that like button and please subscribe if you're not already a family member. Also, when you leave, be sure to visit the other participants in this collaboration because we want this to be as successful for them. And when you go to those collaborators, please make sure that you also like and subscribe their channels as well. And give them lots of good comments so that they will be encouraged to continue to put out quality material that all of us enjoy.
Remember to always serve a bowl of salad first when you're preparing your meals, because then you'll find that your family will become much more addicted to veggies. They like them raw.
Back to the kitchen of Ebony Ivy Thyme because this is the place where we're going to cook good food, we're going to chat a lot, and we're going to love on our family.